Hi, I'm Andrew Forbes with FE Forbes Company. We're here at CMA's spring conference down in beautiful sunny Indian Wells. And I'm joined here with by Blaise Santiago with Forge Trust. How are you today, Blaise?
Fantastic. Sun is out, a little cold, but
enjoying things so far?
Enjoying things, great company, great people, great lessons.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about Forge and what you guys do.
Forge Trust, as a lot of the CMA members know, is one of the providers for self-directed IRAs. I'm super passionate about that because to allow clients to invest IRA money into some of the great private asset classes that are available, specifically real estate that we're talking about today. But it's just one of those unknowns. So to be able to get out there and educate people about what it is that you do and ways to go out there and get invested in that is just a powerful thing, powerful story.
And so with Forge, you can have, it can be a traditional IRA, a SEP IRA, right? It's not just limited to one or the other. Is that correct? Or what's...
Correct. In order for anyone to invest in private assets, like what you're doing at FE Forbes, you have to have a qualified custodian, right? The IRS requires that. If it was taxable money, they could just write you a check and be done with it. But when it comes to investing their retirement money, they need a qualified custodian to get access to you.
Right. So would that also be like a Schwab type platform as well, or probably not? Because that's...
When you think about what Schwab does as a business, they are a custodian, they hold assets much like we do, but we specialize in the alternatives, the private assets that they don't. So while we act much like what they do, the asset classes and funds that we hold just aren't available through them.
Because that's my understanding, is that you can't go, investing in something like, a deed of trust through Schwab, which is why Forge has been fantastic for us and many other CMA members to work with.
And that's what I'm excited about, to be honest with you, is the idea of now opening this platform up, this marketplace that we've built because of firms like yours, to say, now let's put this out there to the RA community. So that more investors can see what's out there and available to them, much like the family offices and endowments have for decades. Right?
So is that kind of the next step for what you're looking into, is the RAs?
Why not? Right? That's the question I'm asking of Forge Trust, is why not? We're a custodian and we can provide the reports. Thanks to firms like you, we have the inventory of funds. Why not?
I mean, not just to give a testimonial, but I mean, you guys have been great. It's fantastic working with you and your team. It's the customer service is there. The online portal's super easy to use. It's a great platform, and we're loving it. So I think getting the RAs would just be a tremendous addition. So it's how do you plan to attract them? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that people don't care what you know until they know that you care, right? I am inspired by the death of my son after just 55 days to have taught a lesson of tomorrow's never promised and to never take anything for granted. It's sharing stories and experiences like that that will allow me to get in to these firms to be able to show them that we do care. And I think one of the things you just echoed was the experience you have at Forge. It really embodies that we do care. And while we are in a space that sometimes takes time, if we can care and walk you through some things, then it makes for a great experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it does feel like, like a family, like you're part of something. It's not some larger company that, you're not talking to anybody, right? We have direct contacts who you get to talk to at Forge, is what it seems.
You've developed a relationship with a service person.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of them I've never even met, which is why I'm so blessed to have gotten to know you and built the friendship with you. And that's kind of just what CMA is about as well, right?
I was just going to say that. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I felt coming here. Going back to the October meeting when I first met the team down in Southern California, it just felt like this was a place that you could come to learn life lessons without having to experience it yourself. If you can learn a lesson that way, then that's the most valuable way to do it. But if we can learn it in a way that we can learn from someone else's experience, then why not do it that way? And everyone here is so open to sharing good and bad experiences.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, it's whether it's you're learning from your own bad experience, it might sometimes be better to learn from somebody else's bad experience so that you don't have to go through that and experience it. I don't want to sound selfish in that, but that's why we're all here. We all share our good experiences, our bad experiences, and that, like sitting at lunch today, I was sitting next to a gentleman who's been in the industry for a very long time, and I was picking his brain on, on ideas to generate new business, ideas, to generate capital.
Yeah.
And there's just ideas and things that I had never thought of, and so it's also that kind of the lack of competitiveness amongst, really, if you think about it, a lot of competitors, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's definitely competitiveness out in that room, but yeah, when they come to this conference, you don't feel that.
Yeah, that kind of goes out the window,
Yep.
which is why it's it's so great, and it's so nice to have people like you and
Thanks,
other vendors that we can all work with, trust, rely on, and just in general have a great time with. So.
Work should be fun, and
Yeah.
if we all believe in the stuff that we're doing and the products we're offering to clients, then that's exactly what it is. And
Right.
I mean, your family is a great symbol of that, right? 4 generations of doing the same thing. You clearly believe in what you're doing,
No,
and there's so much of that out there in this room.
Yeah, well, it's because of people like you and Brad and
Yeah.
Angela, everybody, you name it. The Odell, who I was sitting with at lunch, it's because of the group of people that make it truly special group, and it's both educational, and it's it's an opportunity to network.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a great addition. I think we've brought more networking into it, which to me is a lot of fun. And but you have to have the education aspect as well. So it's a good balance, I've felt.
100%. And one of the things that also stands out is the multi-generational folks that are here. I go to conferences when I was in other spaces, and you could just tell that the business was getting old, and
Right.
there was no legacy plans.
Yeah.
You come here, you can see that there are people planning the next step for this business, whether it's their family that's going to take over, but multiple generations of folks here.
Yeah.
People that use AI, folks that don't use AI.
I know. How about that AI discussion? I thought I was pretty tech savvy before, but I don't seem to know nearly half of what I thought.
Well, that's what was kind of neat, seeing everyone that is now going to take that same idea back to their office and do
I
the
know.
same exact thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, there clearly is enough to go around if we're all going to try to do the same thing.
Right, and I mean, just
So why be haters? Why? you know?
exactly. No, the opportunities with AI though are endless. I mean, it's going to be a game changer, life changing.
I don't know if I'm going to write another email again.
I don't know if I ever will. Yeah. Or I
AI.
don't think drafting another proproposal again. I don't think so.
LinkedIn post, all
Yeah,
written by
forms,
AI.
templates,
Maybe
you
we shouldn't
name
be
it.
admitting that on
I
this.
know. Yeah. No. Of course, I won't use AI for everything. But no, it's great. Well, beyond CMA, so you mentioned that your first event was the one in October.
Yep, the private lending event.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Private Money Basics.
Yep.
How was that?
This is my really first introduction to CMA. As a firm, we've been, kind of sponsors of the CMA for quite some time.
Thank you for
kind of
that.
lost our way a little bit, but it was important for me to get this reignited and be a face to the Forge name.
Okay.
So being there was just a nice way to slowly get to meet some people.
Yeah.
And then coming to the big conference is like, all right,
Absolutely.
got a little preparation from that first one, smaller event, now to the bigger one, and it's, the fire hose.
And so at Private Money Basics, were you familiar with private money before? No?
No,
Okay.
I came into this space distributing public products to RAs through the Schwabs and the Fidelities. Knew the value of alternatives,
Right.
but really had no idea what I was getting into when I joined Forge. I just liked the idea of being able to go to my same clients and say, look at these great offerings.
Yeah.
But then it was learning about all those products.
Well, and so yeah, private money must have been, because when I fully got into it, I mean, it kind of blew my mind, right? I mean, just all the different scenarios that you come across and different ways you can help people, and
Yeah.
just all the different things that come up. It's amazing. So it's, I'm sure for you it was,
I used to, if someone said, hey, I need real estate, I would offer them a public REIT.
Yeah,
Right? The same thing everyone else is buying,
Right.
paying, really not adding any value whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because I always believed that the way rich got richer was real estate and insurance, right? I
Yeah.
think it was Gordon Gekko that said that.
Yeah.
But you weren't doing that through a REIT,
Yeah.
right? You had to actually buy property, and
Yep.
to know that you could do that at $100,000. You didn't need to have millions of dollars to get into these properties.
And you don't need to deal with tenants and toilets, right?
Even better.
So that's the other benefit.
Even better.
You don't have to deal with tenants and toilets. So, are you like getting clients itself, or are you more after like trying to get like the companies to use?
A little bit of both. I
Okay.
mean, my goal is based on accounts, so
Right.
the more accounts I bring in, the better. So if I can hit an institution, that's going to give me 20, 30, 40 accounts versus finding individuals, and that is beneficial.
Right.
But I would say to that point that what is still very surprising to me is that while there is still, I think they say 40 trillion in qualified money, that this space is still very untapped and still has very big
40
opportunities.
40 trillion.
40 trillion, and how few of those people know that this is a space they can actually invest that money.
Right, and earn a higher return.
Yeah, I mean, that aha moment still kind of blows my mind. And when I tell people that you can still do this with your own money, you don't have to go through a Schwab or Fidelity.
Right.
I get that aha moment.
Yeah.
Wow,
no,
I can?
Yeah. And so, I mean, I've seen with our investor pool, which it's a, we're a moderate size of investors. And, we have moved a lot of those folks over to Forge with their IRAs, SEP IRAs, traditional IRA.
It's a big chunk of money.
Right. Well, some of these folks, they have quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And it's, but it's great that Forge is able to offer that process. They make the process easy. And that's why, we don't want to, send our clients anywhere that is going to make things difficult or, painful for them, because then that reflects poorly on us.
In the end, we are a reflection of you. If you hire us, then we
Exactly.
Yeah, we
so
can
I think
mess
that's
things
where,
up for you.
where Forge, comes ahead, right? Is back to the customer service. And I mean, is there any other ways that you see Forge as being, a more desirable custodian versus somebody else? Or
I think it's some of the things we learned here today
Yeah.
is leveraging technology, right? Innovate or die is really the key. And I think Forge as a business will continue to innovate both on the private equity and private real estate side to make the experience just that much better. And when I think about why someone would want to reach out to us, I kind of see it as two different, I'll call them clientele. One
Right.
is the individuals that have either been presented with an idea from you or an advisor
Yeah.
that has then said, how do I invest my qualified money? That's when Forge is a perfect opportunity. But I would say on the bigger scale is if you're a registered investment advisor, if you have your own book of clients, is to consider private real estate as an alternative
Right.
to any other investment strategy out there.
Yeah.
I think it's unfortunate that a lot of these private asset classes that are here just don't get looked at simply because an advisor can't get paid from it.
Exactly. And that's been something that we've struggled with, is that we don't get those looks that we'd like. But, when we have our investors that work with Forge, and you said, like we mentioned, there are other custodians out there. I have found Forge personally, and for our company and for our investors, it's the personal touch that we talked about, right? We can pick up the phone and call somebody. If you send in an email request, right, for funds to be transferred, I mean, it's a rapid response.
And you still might even get a call. Right?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
It's not a chat system, it is an actual phone call.
You fill out a form, you submit it, and if I do it wrong, I get the email back that I need to fix it, and then I say, okay, I didn't check my work, again, and it's such a simple system, such a simple process that there's really no reason for any private investor that's investing in real estate not to use Forge. I mean, it's because of it's the people there, and it's the business model, and just the simplicity of it, right?
And kind of like the history of your own family businesses, you've been around for a while, you develop these processes, you make something that could be difficult simple.
Yeah.
Forge, while the name has only been public for 6 years, as you know, the name Forge goes back to the 70s. So we've been around for quite some time and have just found a simple, easy process to deliver something that can be a little bit challenging.
Well, the other thing with Forge too is, I keep going back to the online portal and website and stuff. It's you've got access to every different form you could ever possibly need for any type of alternative investment transaction. It's all right there. And if you don't know which form to fill out for the transaction that you're trying to accomplish, you just pick up the phone and call, and you're gonna get the feedback and the help and the guidance that you need to complete it.
I mean, I don't know about you, but how many times have you called an 800 number or tried to get customer service outside of Forge, and just it's been such the worst experience. It almost wrecks your day.
Well, I'm nonstop. Just speak to person, human. Just anybody but press 7 to talk to so and so. No, or I just want to talk to a person. I don't want to do this online. I want to talk to somebody. I've already tried to do it online. That's why I'm calling.
I messed that up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I messed it up. So that's why I need help from a person. But I guess now with the AI stuff we're talking about, I think that's going to become a bigger problem. But with companies like Forge and Forbes, hopefully we keep that personal touch to it, and it can help.
As long as we keep believing that the way we're going to show people we care is by caring.
Yeah, by caring. Absolutely.
Then it has to be done in person, right?
Actions
These events
speak
are
louder than
important.
words.
Yeah, these events that's why these are important, right? That
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do any of this work via Zoom as
Yeah.
impactful as I could do here in
So
person.
are you planning on going to the next CMA event?
Absolutely. Monterey, baby?
Yeah, looking
do
forward
it.
to it.
Yeah.
We'll have to get in some golf. Well, when you're not working at Forge, what do you like doing for fun?
So I mentioned to you the passing of my son. While it was a sad thing, clearly truly inspired by that moment. And so my wife and I started a foundation in his honor, the Live Strong Foundation,
Okay.
where we help families that are dealing with the disease that took our son. SMA, spinal muscular atrophy, is the disease that took our son. It's Lou Gehrig's for infants. But there are plenty of kids that live with this disease. Our kid was just too young and had the most severe type, but there are plenty of kids living with it. And so we help Bay Area families dealing with it. Sometimes feel like you're on an island when you have, if you're sick or have this weird genetic disease, right? You're kind of off on this island, and we didn't want families to feel like that. And we experienced that, and we said we're going to make sure that more families don't feel like that.
Well, I'm so sorry for your loss, but that's amazing that you are turning it into a positive to be there for other people and provide support.
Like this whole conversation, right, was taking negative things and trying to learn from it, right? And if we can teach that, then
I feel you give positive energy all the time. When we first met over beers, on
wait, that was a work lunch meeting.
It was a Monday work lunch
meeting
meeting where a couple beers were had with an unproductive afternoon then. But no, it was that was a great time.
Yeah, it was.
I've enjoyed our friendship and look forward to continued friendship.
Many more years, my man.
Many more years. Thank you very much.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.